Friends, today I'm back with one of the fresh topic. Basically, most of you might have heard about it, but there are a lot of misconceptions regarding that topic. Okay, so let's introduce the topic first. The birth in a Gandamul nakshatra. Okay, or Gandanta nakshatra. Okay, so basically there are two specific planets which are basically coming under the bracket of Gandanta nakshatra. One is all the Ketu nakshatra which are falling in the fire signs, and second is all the Mercury nakshatra which are falling in the water sign. Now the misconception is that most of the people who go to the village astrologer or some of the astrologer who are not very well versed, or the people might not have this basic idea exactly what Gandant wants, what exactly Gandanta means, and what actually is the reason which it is made very scary in certain levels. Okay, so for that you need to understand that the concept is that, like, if any child is born with the moon sign falling in any nakshatra of Ketu, let's say Ashwini nakshatra in Aries, Magha nakshatra in Leo, or Mula nakshatra in Sagittarius, in which basically Mula nakshatra is basically made a kind of a sensation that it's very problematic, like birth in a that pada, XYZ. I think every nakshatra has a maximum size of 13 degree 20 minute. Okay, and nakshatra has a 4 pada, and each pada is made up of 3 degree 20 minutes. Okay, so in that way, basically, as we are aware, basically that 3 nakshatra of Ketu, then the 3 nakshatra of Mercury, which basically falls in the water sign, Cancer, Scorpio, Pisces, that are Aslesha, Jyeshtha and Revati. So again, that nakshatra is basically considered somewhat problematic, troublesome in some ways, and people basically, whenever go to the astrologer, they make their birth chart, or some of the birth charts are made the moment they see a moon basically placed in any of the 6 nakshatra, either in fire sign 3 nakshatra of Ketu, other in water sign 3 nakshatra of Mercury. Okay, they simply put a label on the child or a person who is born. That child has born in a Gandmul nakshatra. There needs to be puja, needs to be done to do the shantis and peace with the matter related to that nakshatra. This is a general feature which is, this is a kind of a narrative which is regarding this Gandanta nakshatra is floating in the market. Okay, so today I'll remove the clouds basically flowing in the environment. So what basically Gandanta is? Gandanta is a junction point of a nakshatra where one is the beginning point, one is the end point. Beginning and end. Like one day we take birth, that is the beginning, and one day we die, that is the end. Means physical birth and physical death. Okay, in between there is a kind of a junction point where our soul basically travels. Okay, so apart from that, in a different language, we can say when there is a border between two countries, and a person is exactly, the gunshots are getting triggered from both the sides, and a person is right exactly standing in the border. Now this is a very critical situation. Okay, for some of the people, they get stuck exactly which way they need to go, that side or this side. Okay, Gandanta is basically termed in a two category. One is the Pitru Gandanta, paternal Gandanta. It's more like a responsibility. It's like a taking leadership calls in life. That is one Gandanta which is falling in the fire sign, which is Pitru Gandanta. Some call it by Pitru Rin. Yes, it can be considered as a Pitru Rin, a debt towards the paternal lineage. But are all planet or extremely moon placement is sufficient enough to put a label of Pitru Dosh? No, there's a condition there. Why not every planet is comfortable or moon is not comfortable? I'll give you the explanation here. In the similar way, there's a water Gandanta also. Okay, but in today's video, I think today is the part 1 of this Gandanta. Today I'll only speak up on the fire sign Pitru Gandanta. The challenge coming from the paternal lineage, the challenge coming from the grandfather's lineage. Basically, if suppose your moon is basically placed in a, let's say, Ashwini, Magha or Mula, any of the nakshatra, check out the degrees of moon, within what degree the moon is placed. This is the general narrative which is spread. The moment the astrologer or some of the village people basically sees that moon is in any one of the Ketu nakshatra, no matter which ascendant is there. Okay, whether the moon is lord of a good house, bad house, what, they simply put up a label like it's like a birth in a Gandamul nakshatra. But that is not the whole case. Every Ketu nakshatra has a 4 pada. Pada 1, Pada 2, Pada 3, Pada 4. This 4 Pada means the 4 Purushartha, 4 mandatory duties a human life soul has to travel through. And which 4 main Purushartha are Dharma, the rule of universe, duties, Artha is a material acquisition of wealth, feeding family and taking care of everybody, Kama, getting marriage, taking the lineage further, and finally Moksha, treating our parents, spirituality, charity and everything. Suddenly one day, settling all the score, we have to leave the world to the next generation. That is the moksha, and moksha has a wider meaning also. So among the 4 padas of a Ketu nakshatra, the first pada in a Ashwini, the first pada in Leo, the first pada in Mula. If your birth ascendant falls in any one of the 3 ascendant, and by default your birth ascendant falls here, Aries, Leo, Sagittarius, the degree will be between 0 degree to 3 degree 20 minutes. The first pada. And those who know how to calculate Navamsha, they know that 1 pada is equal to 1 Navamsha. The moment you are born in a fire sign and your birth ascendant degree falls between 0 degree to 3 degree 20 minutes, by default your Navamsha ascendant will be Aries. Aries stands for what? Taking the leadership call. You cannot escape, you cannot run away, you are in a battleground. It's a movable sign. It deals with the leadership, it takes with the instant decision. Now basically people term moon as falling in any of this nakshatra as a weak. Yeah, there is a reason behind that. Moon is a bit neutral planet. Moon is like emotions. Moon finds it very difficult. You can connect with the situation of Lord Krishna and Arjuna. When Lord Krishna gives him the Updesh in the Bhagavad Gita, Arjuna finds it very difficult and asks Krishna that how can I kill my own people? Despite knowing that they all have created so much bad things with Draupadi and lot many other things, they might have practiced adharma beyond the limit. But still he has that confusion, doubt that these are my own people, how to take weapons against them. Then Lord Krishna says that when somebody practices adharma, somebody has to take the charge. And that taking the charge, taking the call is basically the quality of dharma, the leader, that is Aries sign. And moon being a motherly planet, emotional planet, gets trapped in that area. That is the reason some of the astrologers, pundits, basically don't speak out this complete information and put it label as a Gandamul nakshatra. Moon in a Aries in this nakshatra, again there's a condition apply. Let's say moon is sitting with Mars, situation will be different. Moon in Ashwini, Magha, Mula, along with any other planet, the situation will be different in the Gandamul nakshatra. Person has to take a leadership call, hard decision maker, taking the step, leading from the front is the call. Okay, so the first criteria, as I had told, that if any of the 3 ascendant comes and ascendant degree falls between 0 degree to 3 degree 20 minutes, the ascendant falls in the Gandanta nakshatra, and the respective lord of that Navamsha, which this ascendant goes, is Mars. So Mars should be in a very dynamic position. Mars is a kind of a leader who takes a physical kinetic action, takes the lead part. It's a by born leader, a fighter. Okay, Sun gets exalted. If Sun is placed in Aries, Sun is exalted in Vargotam. Again, if it goes in Leo, it will go to exaltation. If even it goes sits in the Sagittarius, in that Mula nakshatra first pada, it will go and become exalted. So for Sun, for Mars, Gandanta, Sun, Mars in the Gandanta are more like a Arjun who can break the Chakravyuh or all the things. Even Jupiter is the guru of all those things. Jupiter is quite capable of dealing everything in a very wise manner. At this particular situation, Jupiter can also deal the challenges of Gandanta, taking the leadership through wisdom, through knowledge. It is the guru of all. So Sun, Mars, Jupiter falling in any of the Gandanta. Now this Gandanta sign not necessarily falling in the ascendant. If these signs are placed in any other houses and any of such planet, let's say Sun, Mars, Jupiter are placed, they may be going into the Aries Navamsha. Sun and Mars will do excellent, Jupiter will do much more better than that. These 3 are born leader in 3 different ways. Sun is the soul, inborn merit, confidence, sharp brain. Mars is physical, kinetic energy, muscle power, ability to take challenges. Jupiter is the wisdom. It can play all the role like a Sun, like a Mars and a Jupiter. It's all in one. So for all the 3 planets, it is not a trouble to be in the Gandanta. Moon might be, but with a condition. Let's say moon is there in Ashwini, Magha or Mula. By default in the D9 chart, when the moon goes to Aries, Mars should be either in Aries, should be in Leo, should be in Sagittarius, or should be in Capricorn, or should be in Scorpio. Mars should be powerful, which can take the challenge, which can take the ability which basically Gandanta demands. Like you are the only most child, whether a boy or a girl is left in your family. Let's say you are a girl born with this situation, and no, there is no brother left in your family. So somewhere you have to take the male masculine challenge in your family. You have to fight for the family, you have to protect the family, you have to earn the family, you have to take the leadership call. So this leadership is made scary, that it is birth in that shanti needs to be done. No shanti can ignore the make away disappear the challenge. So basically you should be very careful when you are looking the situation of a Gandanta. Okay, now this is the situation I have told, that in the Gandanta, whether ascendant falls, whether these signs are placed in any other houses and any other planet is placed there, in which I said Sun, Mars and Jupiter are quite excellent. Moon needs to be seen in the D9 along with the position of Mars. If Mars is good, Moon can also deliver that. Even if Ketu is there, then Mars needs to be seen in there. Ketu here basically shows that in the past life you have almost achieved that area. Then how to know that? If Mars is in good dignity in the D9, in the fire sign or in its own sign or exalted sign, it says that in the past life you have done excellent leadership skills. In this lifetime you will be moving to the next level of leadership. So that is to understand. These 5 planets are sorted out: Sun, Mars, Jupiter, Ketu and Moon. Now which are the problem when they go into the Gandanta finds very difficult to deal with. The first planet is Mercury. Mercury is like a teenager. Mercury, it's like a middleman, a businessman, a teenager whose lack of wisdom, lack of knowledge, speech, communication. And Aries is a fire sign, it's a command center. Mercury finds very difficult to take the leadership call. Taking the responsibility, the burden, the fear factor gets trapped here. It's like a small prince, situation like Abhimanyu. So whenever the Mercury is in Gandanta, there's a problem. Whether it's falling in any of the 3 fire sign ascendant, or these 3 Gandanta signs might be falling in any houses and Mercury is placed. Yes, for that you need to go through some solutions. Okay, for that you need to worship goddesses Durga in that cases. That will help you. Then apart from Mercury, let's take the Venus here. Venus is the universal Marga planet of family, wealth, women in your life. If you see that all the battles which were fought in the world were for wealth, women and landed property, all those things, and the illusion, the Maya and everything. Venus is the planet of illusion, the Maya, the material attachment in the life. So whenever Venus basically gets into the Gandanta, a person is only after pleasure hunt, drama, reality, lack of reality will be there. There might be some artistic skills, there might be some great things about Venus, but Venus is more like a subordinate planet, assistant kind of a planet, it's not a leader. But whenever the Venus is placed here, either in a man's chart or a woman's chart, somewhere they have to take the leadership call. And when you go to become a leader, you have to be somewhere autocratic in life. The purpose for which Venus is known for: diplomacy, mutual understanding, partnership, wealth creation, material life, all things will stay aside. Venus is typically woman, not meant for that area. No matter, a lot of people may speak up a lot of things that nowadays everything is happening, equality and everything, but technically war leadership is not a call of a woman in certain areas. Okay, so basically Venus is basically Maya illusion. Imagine a king is fascinated by women, a priest, a guru, a teacher, a soldier is trapped by wealth and women. Their motives will get changed. They will be distracted. Venus is more like a distraction in the path of a dharma. In fire signs, it will burn down. Somewhere you will not be able to look out the other side of the coin. Because Venus is the other side. When it's coming on your head, you are fascinated by a lot of beauty, glamour, everything around you. You would only like to enjoy the power you want to, you will not do the duties here. I have seen in most of the cases, the person may be very double standard, very hypocrite. For them, somebody else will pay in life. Okay, so Venus is the second planet which is not again very comfortable in the Gandanta. For that also you need to do Shanti. You need to do some great things related to widow women, poor girls who are not able to get married due to the lack of financial status. Somewhere you have to make sure that you give them protection, you get them life settled in some way. Within whatever limits you can do something for them as a leadership call, as a father figure, as a brother figure, as a guru. Okay, that is what. And the third planet is basically Saturn. As we all know, if Saturn is placed in Aries, it is debilitated. Saturn is the old man, it's a servant. And Aries sign is a commander, it's the leader, it's the guru. And Saturn is not very comfortable. It's like you are sending an old man for a war, a try almost on the deathbed, and you are expecting him to take the leadership, the responsibility zone. Now again, this is a very, it shows that in the past life native has not taken the responsibility called Saturn is a big Pitru dosha here. Either it's sitting in Ashwini Nakshatra first pada, Magha Nakshatra first pada or Mula Nakshatra first pada, because it will be becoming debilitated in the D9. Suppose if Mars is also debilitated, Sun, Jupiter, at least two planets are debilitated, this Gandanta will become a big trouble in person's life. If Saturn is somewhere combust or retrograde, it is an indication that from many lifetime person has not taken the charge, has always found it the easiest way to take the challenge. Person wants the power but do not want to follow the discipline, core ethics and everything. So Saturn is technically not a very excellent planet here. It becomes debilitated. Saturn is more like a saver, a serviceman, not a commander, not a leader, not a guru. Saturn is the hard work and lot of things. Lot of Saturn is also the karaka of 6th, 8th and 12th house. So there's a strong level of Pitru dosha. There's a long level of, I think, negative things basically attached with this Gandanta. Saturn is extremely the most troublesome planet in the fire sign Gandanta, in the call of leadership area. Now native is getting caught in the catch-22 situation. He or she who is having Saturn here has to completely behave like a leader, and lot many things will go good and bad in their life. The Shanti is not the solution. No amount of stone can solve the matter. No pujas can. It's the only option. You have to take the leadership call. You have to grow, mature before your life. Sometimes you need to fight such wars basically in different levels, whether you are not willing. If you are at old age and suppose your family has no men left, so you have to take that. So Saturn was the third planet which is not very comfortable in the Gandanta. And last and finally, the most dangerous planet in Gandanta, the planet of Adharma. I call it Adharma. I will never call Rahu as a planet of Dharma. Rahu is the fourth and final planet. It is the illusion. Rahu wants to become like authority, power, position. Rahu is a very unaccountable planet. It wants power, pleasure, money, everything, because it is the shadow of Saturn, but a trap of Saturn. And whenever Rahu gets stuck in the Aries, Leo, Sagittarius, native can be a fake soldier, native can be a fake leader, native can be a fake guru, trying to use the mask of somebody. Imagine the situation, Ravana change up his get-up and kidnap goddess Sita. Same way Rahu will behave here. It will be a false guru, false teacher, false astrologer, with the condition if the Mars, Sun, Jupiter are very bad in the D9. If the Rahu is here, the most dangerous planet, but just because this is a fire sign, you cannot keep anything secret or a double standard for a long time. Anything adharma like Rahu or something gets burned down. You will be exposed very quickly if you do something very double standard, opportunistic way, selective attitude. Rahu is typically that. Whenever it sees a profit from something, it will be like that. A very next moment it can shift to the other way. So Rahu is again a very tricky planet here, and the most dangerous, more dangerous than Saturn here. And then you need to definitely do puja of it. Somewhere basically you have to give water to the rising sun as a regular duty, at least Sunday to worship goddesses Durga or goddesses Hanuman. Worship should be mandatory. You have to put a chandan tika on your forehead basically whenever you have a Rahu in the Gandanta. That will keep your mind in the very right way, right form. Okay. So that was the first part in which basically I have cleared the features related to Gandanta Nakshatra. Now this Gandanta Nakshatra not necessarily will be falling in the fire sign, but this signs may be falling in any other house, and if any planet is stuck there. As I mentioned in the whole video, those who are watching it right now, I insist them to watch the whole complete video. Then you will get the complete idea which planet are very capable in Gandanta. Gandanta is like a Chakravyuh, a leadership call. But Sun, Mars, Jupiter is excellent. Ketu here shows that in the past life you have almost cleared that level, and this lifetime you have to move to the next level of leadership. That situation of Sun, Mars, Jupiter will tell. Okay, and I think Moon is condition apply like Ketu basically. If Mars is bad, then you will suffer like here. But after that, rest four planet which I explained in this video, if they are stuck in Gandanta, in a Pitru Gandanta, then the chart has a Pitru dosha, lot of a burden. Then the situation is really very scary. You have to be very careful. Mercury speech. With one word you can make the world, and one word you can destroy the world. Mercury is very immature in this Gandanta. Venus is a Maya, a glamour. When you are attached to that beauty, body, kingdom, and everything, you will forget get distracted. So Venus is again not a very good planet here. And Saturn as an old man, a servant kind of planet, cannot take the commanding roles here. Has to be very harsh. Saturn speaks in fair play, equality. And when the war happens, there is nothing called equality in Saturn. That is the reason it's not like a willing to become a leader or something like that, due to the physical issues and motive, approach and mindset and everything. Okay, so that was in today's video. Okay, those who are new to the channel, please like, share and subscribe and stay connected, because I'll be bringing up more excellent videos, tutorial videos with lot of misconception getting busted. And you can put down your, I think, questions, queries, doubts, suggestions, or even if you have a disagreement, I welcome your disagreement. You can put down in the comment section. Okay, lot of people are there, everybody might have a different point of view, different understanding, and I accept that. Okay, I have no objection with that. So even if you want to criticize or you want to put a different notion, you are most welcome. Okay, so that was in today's, I think, video. I'll be come with the part 2 of the Gandan, so stay connected with that, coming very shortly. Okay, thank you.